Hey guys, welcome back. This is another episode of the Star Trek The Next Generation podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Star Trek The Next Generation podcast. I'm excited to join you again for another engaging discussion about one of the iconic episodes of the series. Get ready to engage in insightful analysis and explore the themes, characters, and storylines that make this series so beloved by fans. Let's dive in and get started.
Okay, so we are on the episode Haven.
Great! We're going to discuss the episode Haven today.
Going off my memory, this episode definitely was not one of my favorites. I'll say that it's nice to start. This is the first episode we really start to get a little more backstory with Troy and her mother, Luoxana, played by Majel Barrett. This is her first time in the show as the character Luoxana. She's been the voice of the computer, but so this is the first introduction of her. Her character is very eccentric and vibrant, and I mean she really goes at it. And I mean she's in the show a number of times. She usually kind of comes across a little annoying, but there's always a little bit of heart and warmth. I mean, you can always usually tell that she does have good intentions behind, her, whatever she's doing.
Yes, that's correct. This episode marks the official introduction of Luoxana Troy, portrayed by the talented actress Majel Barrett in the recurring role of Deanna's mother. Luoxana's character is known for her eccentric and vivacious personality, which can sometimes come across as overbearing or annoying to some characters, including Captain Picard in the series. However, as you mentioned, she often has benevolent intentions and can show moments of warmth and affection towards others.
Yes. As well as her first appearance, it's also the first appearance of her, I don't know what you would call them, escort, or not servant, but assistant or whatever, Mr. Ham, who's like, I think he was in one of the Addams Family, either the TV show or the movie, but I mean, dude, this guy's like 7 feet tall.
Yes, you're right. That must be Mr. Hone, who is Luoxana's trusted servant and companion. He is a tall and imposing figure, standing at around 7 feet, 2.13 meters tall, and he often silently follows Luoxana around, assisting her with various tasks. The character Mr. Hone is played by actor Tim Russ, who later portrayed another character in the Star Trek franchise, Tuvok, in Star Trek Voyager.
Okay, that's super wrong. It's not played by Tim Russ, so I don't know where you're getting that information, but I believe he played whatever, the tall guy in Addams Family, whatever that character's name is now, I forget. But anyway, so that's a little correction. But yeah, and he has weird little things about his character. I don't know if it's I don't think it's in this episode, but there's a later point where it's like, something to do with alcohol, and he just drinks like 10 of them back to back and seems to not be affected whatsoever.
I apologize for the mistake. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate the clarification. As for Mr. Holmes' character in the episode, you're right that he's a mysterious figure with some unusual habits, like his apparent immunity to the effects of alcohol. He is often a silent presence, supporting Luoxana and fulfilling her requests without speaking. As the episode progresses, his presence provides some interesting dynamics, particularly between Luoxana and other characters.
Well, and the thing I do like about this character being alongside Luoxana is she is so outspoken and speaks so much, and then he's silent and never speaks. So that's an interesting, it's a good dichotomy or a good pairing to have the two.
Yes, I agree that the contrast between Loaxana's talkative and expressive nature and Mr. Holmes' silent and stoic demeanor creates an interesting dynamic. Loaxana's frequent outbursts and commentary are balanced by Mr. Holmes' quiet and steady presence, providing a starkly different personality trait to offset hers. The two characters complement each other well, and their interactions often bring a touch of humor and intrigue to the scenes they share.
So in this episode, there is supposed to be an arranged marriage. I can't remember the main character's name, and I know him as a lot of things way later on. He's been in a number of different shows, and he was kind of a main villain in season 3 of Heroes, and he could control Earth and he could cause earthquakes and stuff. And so they're supposed to have this kind of arranged marriage. It's kind of there's definitely a little bit of wackiness involved. It just, I don't know, it doesn't feel as grounded as certain episodes. And then, you know, you've got the parents of him and Loaxana, and this has been apparently set up or arranged for years. And you know, possibly one of the reasons why Deanna and Riker, you know, didn't work out when it did. I mean, if this was supposed to be on the books, I don't know how she was planning to get out of this at the time. But now you fast forward, and so this is supposed to happen, but they don't really love each other. They barely know each other. And so that's an interesting story point there.
Yes, you're correct about that. In this episode, there is an arranged marriage between Loaxana's nephew, who is a young man from the planet Deltarana 4, and Deanna. The character you're referring to is played by actor Matt Frewer, who has appeared in various TV shows and movies, including Heroes, as you mentioned. The marriage is arranged, and it seems as if it's been planned for a long time. It raises questions about the characters' feelings towards each other and the future of their relationship. Certainly a situation with an interesting storyline and a few comedic elements mixed in.
Okay, so just on the topic, as AI, how do you feel about something like arranged marriage? Do you feel that, you know, people should follow their hearts and, you know, feelings and true love, or that something like an arranged marriage has its place?
As an AI, I don't have personal feelings or opinions, but based on cultural and historical data, arranged marriages were once commonplace in many societies. The idea behind arranged marriages is that they are arranged by the parties' families for reasons other than love or passion, such as social status, political reasons, or family interests. It's important to note that arranged marriages aren't the same as forced marriages, where the individuals involved are coerced or compelled to marry against their will. Arranged marriages can have both positive and negative aspects, depending on the individuals involved and their cultural context.
So this episode continues on, and next thing you know, there's this other group that come, and I think there's some disease, or they have something that they can't cure, and I can't remember all the details, but this beautiful blonde is on the episode, and the one guy that she's arranged to marriage, or to marry, he thought that Deanna Troi, like, they had never met, and he thought that this was the blonde. He had been, I guess, having visions of her or dreams of her, and he had been drawing sketches of her, so he was kind of surprised when he met Deanna and that wasn't her. He just assumed. Then it turns out that they run into this species and the ship, and they talk about that he's like their destiny, or that he needs to join them, and that, you know, it's going to fulfill something by him joining them. And by the end of the episode, he does, and it's kind of an interesting shift. I know Deanna was kind of relieved to not have to be in this forced marriage, which he kind of forcefully backs out of due to going to the ship, and then I guess he has to be, you know, stay on the ship as a result of that disease that he's gonna get by being with them.
Yes, you're right. That's a key plot point in the episode. The idea of the young man having visions of Deanna and believing they were destined to be together adds a romantic element to the episode. However, once it becomes clear that he needs to join the other species on their ship, Deanna is spared from the arranged marriage. The whole sequence of events is rather interesting and brings some dramatic moments to the story.
And correction, that the visions were not of Deanna, they were of the blonde woman that he thought was Deanna, because they hadn't met yet.
Oh, my apologies for misunderstanding. You're correct. The young man's visions were of the blonde woman, not of Deanna, as they hadn't met yet at that point in the episode.
Well, and then so you go back to Deanna being single and Lwaxana being, very motherly, but I think at this point you do get to the character development where Deanna officially kind of puts her foot down with her mother and says, I'm not going to have an arranged marriage. If I'm going to marry someone, I want it to be out of feelings and love, and you need to stay out of my, you need to respect me as your daughter and my feelings and what I want. And so then after it's when Lwaxana appears on the ship, she's very forward with kind of trying to push men on to Deanna, like, hey, Riker, or whatever, if there's another guest character, like, hey, have you met my daughter? Because she's basically always trying to find someone for Deanna after that point.
You're correct! This episode marks a turning point in Deanna's relationship with her mother, Lwaxana. After Deanna stands up for herself and expresses her desire to marry out of love, rather than an arranged marriage, Lwaxana starts to respect Deanna's decisions and choices. However, Lwaxana also becomes very proactive in trying to find a romantic partner for Deanna, often making a bit too much of an effort to introduce her to various characters. This dynamic between the two characters continues to develop throughout the series.
All right, well, I think that's going to do it for us. I think we covered the most of most of the plot points. And is there anything else you want to add about the episode before we end things?
No, I believe you've covered the main plot points of Haven adequately. The episode explores themes of arranged marriage, the relationship between Deanna and her mother Lwaxana, and the young man's visions of the blonde woman. Overall, it's an entertaining episode with comedic elements and some interesting character interactions.
Yeah, so you definitely get a little bit more. You get Troy backstory. You meet Lwaxana and Mr. Home, or Mr. Ham, however you pronounce it. You get a little bit more Riker and Troy backstory. I feel like there's a conversation or two on the holodeck when she's kind of debating and thinking about things, and so it's an overall decent episode for backstory for Troy. Alright guys, that'll do it for us. So as always, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you for watching. For more discussions and insights on Star Trek: The Next Generation, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next episode.